Boris Johnson would not have formed a majority government and the SNP would have their 48 seats almost cut in half if a fairer proportional representation system had been used to elect MPs to Parliament, a new study has revealed. New research by the Electoral Reform Society reveals that if the UK had used the type of voting system used for the European Parliament elections, there would have been a hung parliament, with a possibility Labour could have formed a government with the support of others. Campaigners are continuing to push for voting changes, saying that proportional representation is a far more democratic method of electing a government, and helps avoid concerns which surfaced during the long-running Brexit debates that Parliament does not represent the people. Boris Johnson, when he moved back to number 10, announced he was fronting a People's Parliament. But the new research reveals that under the Don't List PR system, the Tories, rather than sweeping to power with a landslide 365 seats, would be the biggest party with 288, but that would have been 38 short of the numbers needed to form a majority government. And the SNP would lose out with 4% of the UK vote, with their seats cut from 48 to 28. Critics of the current first-past-the-post (FPTP) method of electing MPs say that the latest election continues to underline how it produces unrepresentative government. In a hung parliament, the incumbent PM stays in office and lives in Downing Street until it is decided who will attempt to form a new government. The Cabinet Manual says that an incumbent government is expected to resign if it becomes clear that it is unlikely to be able to command the confidence of the House of Commons, and there is a clear alternative. That could have allowed Labour to argue that Mr Johnson should quit before a certain date if there is clearly an anti-Tory majority in the Commons that would inevitably reject his Queen's speech. Jeremy Corbyn would then have been first in line to have the chance to form a government which would put its Queen's speech to the Commons to see if he could win the support of a majority of MPs. Under proportional representation, the Labour Party would have won 216 seats, 14 more than our current first-past-the-post system. And the Liberal Democrats would gain their 11.5% of the vote, which gave them 11 seats under FPTP, would hand them 70 under PR. The Green Party, who managed just one seat with 2.7% of the vote, would get 12, and the Brexit Party, which drew a blank with 2% backing, would get 10. It would give the Brexit skeptic parties outside Northern Ireland, including Labour, 330 and those in favour of leaving the EU around 298. Darren Hughes, chief executive of the Electoral Reform Society, said, "No government should be able to win a big majority on a minority of." For more on this story, visit the news article link.